ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वर्ष नंबर 412। समाहितान्तःकरणस्वरूपे विलोकयात्मानमखण्डवैभवं विच्छिन्द्यबन्धं भवगन्धगन्धितं यत्नेन पुंस्तं सफलीकुरुषु। I repeat again. Samahita antakarana sarupe vilokayatmanamakhanda vaibhavam vichindhi bandham bhavagandha gandhitam yatnena punstam safali kurushu. The translation is, with a concentrated mind in samadhi, realize your own self, the self of infinite splendor. Cut off your bondage, which has been strengthened by the impressions of previous births, and successfully strive to fulfill your human birth. See one more time translation very carefully. With the mind restrained in samadhi, behold in yourself the Atman of infinite glory. Cut off your bondage, which is strengthened by the impressions of previous births, and carefully attain the consummation of your birth as a human being. The topic is continue. Shankaracharya says, inquiry into self. Inquiry into self. The most important and most meaningful topic. We have been inquiring since ages. We have inquired so many objects. They may be gross or subtle. We have inquired even God also. And every inquiry demands a calm mind. But in this inquiry, your mind is supposed to be absolute calm, absolute quiet, without any prejudice, without any preconceived notion. It should be ready to the truth. Samahita antakarana. Your mind should be established in the self. In this inquiry, you will come to know the self. as it is. Actually, we know the self. In bodily life, we know the self, what it is. But we know self is misery, with misery, self is take birth, with death. We know self as a bondage. We know self which is in limitation, which take birth, dies, become angry, become happy. So this knowledge about the self is because of our mind is not quiet. When mind becomes quiet, then समाहित अंतःकरण स्वरूपे विलोकय आत्मानम अखंड वैभव. If our mind is quiet, then we can realize the self. And this self is very different, which we were knowing. We, everyone, everyone knows God is everywhere. God is ocean of compassion. God is almighty. But think, did this knowledge of the God make any difference in our life? Think deeply. Do we experience the presence of the God? Do we realize the presence of the God everywhere? We know God is everywhere. Repeatedly we speak about this. God is everywhere. But we don't believe. We don't realize. If we really understood that God is everywhere, we would have been realized it. Then we will get ability to splendor of the God, mercy of the God. We know in virtual level. We know it in intellectual level. But we don't have any experience. So same about the self, we know everything. We know I am the sin. In rituals, when we did sankalpa, we initiate it, and that time the priest chants some mantra. He says, Papoham papakaramaham papatma pap sambhava. He prayed to God, oh God, I am the sin. I am the sin. My all activity is sinful. I am out of the sin. My whole existence is full of sin. So this is our experience about us. I am the sin. I am the sinner. And vice versa. You may have experiences that I am the virtueful man. I am good person. These both are misconceptions. If you know the self, Sankaracharya says, Akhanda Vaibhavam. If our mind is quiet, then we can realize the glory of the self. If our mind is quietened, then we can realize the splendor of the self. Akhanda Vaibhavam. You will realize, you will come to know that I am not sin. I am not sinner. I am not doer. This is your glory. The second thing is to be done, Sankaracharya says, cut off all your bondage. Cut off, you cut. For your sake, no one other can cut it. Bondage of body, bondage of prana, minds, are five seeds. You cut immediately. Vichindi bandham avagandha gandhitam. He says, just you realize the glory of the self, immediately your all bondage will disappear. Your body is your body. You are not body. You are not included in the world. You are divine. You are not part of the world. Your body is the part of the world. Your mind is the part of the world. Your intellect is the part of the world. Your prana also are the part of the world. But you are not the part of the world. You are beyond. All bondages are due to impressions of previous births. Bhavagandha Gandhitam. They have done lots of activity. We have taken lots of births and we have died many times. So its impressions are with us. Sankaracharya says, you can deny any moment. You can deny any moment, any time. I am not responsible for these activities. I am not responsible for these impressions. I did not do anything. Vichindi, just cut off. Any time you can negate. Any time you can refute. Vichindi, you have to cut. Because now you have realized your glory. And next, Yatnena Punsam Safali Kursu. He is saying, your human body, this human body, strive to fulfill your human birth. Fulfill human birth. I would like to share a small anecdote, small story. In ancient time, there was a fort, a very big fort. in somewhere desert area. The food was abundant. No one was living there. A poor blind person was stuck there. And it was very big fort. And it's the boundary, outside the boundary was very, very big. It was in miles and miles. The poor guy, old man, blind person was stuck there. He was looking, he was searching a way to go out. And there was very small exit point, very small exit point. So he was searching that exit point to go out because he was blind. So one hand he had a stick, and another hand he was touching the wall. And slowly, slowly he was going towards the exit point. It was very big boundary. 1 week passed by, another week went by, months went by. He was so depressed, so disappointed. But he had no other option. There was no anyone to help him. So he was trying slowly, 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 slowly. And by God's grace, finally he was about to come that point, the exit point, and see. He felt a sensation of itching in his head. So the hand which he was touching the wall, he took away and started itching in his head. And slowly, slowly he was going. And itching was on. He missed chance. He missed the exit point. And again he put his hand to wall. And his journey started again. This had happened many times. It had happened many times. The story is same. Blind man means ignorance person. All ignorance persons are like blind. They cannot see. The fourth is this world. There are many bodies. Many bodies. Animals' body, birds' body, and God's body. We are traveling. We are trying to go out, but we are failed. No way. Like a blind person, the exit point is very small. The human body is exit point. When we get this body, by God's grace, there is a chance. Our scriptures continuously are advising that this human body is supposed to get liberation. There is no other body better than this for liberation. Then for what are you looking? For whom you are looking? Human body is not for the worldly pleasures. It is not fit for worldly pleasures. So this is the chance. We have been given a chance by God. So that person, like blind guy, every ignorant person is a blind. There are so many bodies, they are like a boundary. Just human body is perfect for liberation. Shankaracharya says, Yatne na punstam safali kurush. So don't miss this chance. Don't miss. Safali kurus. This is the purpose of the human body. So he says, Safali kurusva, the purpose of the human body is get liberation, get self-realization. So don't miss it. Now, next one. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam satchidanandam advayam bhave atmanam atmastam nabhuya kalpase dhune. I repeat again. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam satchidanandam advayam bhave atmastam nabhuya kalpase dhune. The translation is, meditate upon that Atman which is yourself, which is beyond all limitations, which is existence, knowledge, bliss absolute, and non-dual. Never again will you come under the sway of birth and death. See the translation again. Meditate on the Atman, which is resides in you, which is devoid of all limiting and juncts, the existence, knowledge, bliss absolute, the one without a second, and you shall no more come under the round of birth and death. Now he is saying further, keep on meditating on the self. Now the question would be, if I want to search myself, where I should go? Where should I go? I should go to Himalaya. I should go or any other holy places. I should go to Himalaya or heaven. Where? Shankaracharya says, no, Atmanam Atmastam. You are going to inquire yourself, then you inquire in you. Atmasam. You inquire into you, in your inner instrument, in your mind, in your intellect. He says, Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam. If you really concentrate to the Atman, then you will come to know what you are, what is your nature. And it will be available in you, inner side. And this is Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam. You will realize, I am not body, I am not prana, not mind, not intellect, not happiness. Beyond the five sheets, I am unconditioned. Any condition cannot catch me. And very beautiful word is Satchidananda Advayam. So this would be your experience. What I am Sat. I am existence. Yes, I am. Without I am, I cannot experience my existence. I am my existence. So I am existence. Not only sometime period bound, I am absolute existence. Absolute. Absolute knowledge. Absolute happiness. I am the absolute happiness. And Advayam, my happiness, my consciousness, my existence, not different from your existence, your happiness, your knowledge. They are one. Bhave Atmanam Atmastam. He says, meditate. In this topic, keep meditating again and again, again and again. I am the Satchit Ananda. I am only in the world. All universe is in me. I am not limited. This is your inner, this is your reality. This is your essence, inner core. Otherwise, if you know the God is there, God is absolute, God is full happiness, God has everything, it would not work for you. If you are hungry and someone will say that real rich person has everything, every food, and you know that rich person has everything, but what about your hunger? You are sick and someone says in the heaven there is Indra has the nectar. Once you drink, you never fall in sick. It will not work for you. You have to drink. So if you know there is a God, there is a Brahman, in Sanskrit, in Vedanta, we call it Paroksha Gyan. You know the Brahman. Brahman is there, but it makes no difference in your life. Upanishads are saying continuously, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knowing of the Brahma's result is you become the Brahman. If you really have known the Brahman, you would have known that I am the Brahman. Brahman is not different from you. So I am Sat, I am Chit, I am Anand. Just remembrance required. I am Sat. In my presence, many times this creation was born and died. In my presence, all babes of names or forms came to existence and disappeared. Do you remember in Gita, Lord Sri Krishna said to the Arjuna, "O Arjun, I am giving knowledge to you. Same knowledge I imparted to Surya. Imam vivaswan manave praha yoyam yogastoya prokta puratana." Wahi same yog I imparted to Surya. Vivaswan manave praha. Then Arjun asked, how it is possible? You have taken birth recently and you are talking about ages before you gave the knowledge to the son. Imam vivaswan praha, vivaswan manve praha. How it is possible? And very beautifully Lord Sri Krishna says. He said, O Arjun, I have taken many births and I remember myself, not body. I was there. That time I was not son of the Vasudeva, but I was consciousness. I took many bodies, but I always aware myself. He said, Arjuna, you were also that time, but you forget. You are not aware about consciousness. You are about the body. So you forget. But I was always aware about the self. So this is the essence of the spirituality, remembrance of all the time the consciousness. Atmasam. And he says, then you will liberate. Now next one. छायेव पुंसा परिदृश्यमाना माभास रूपेण फलानुभूत्या शरीरमारात् निरस्तम पुनर्न संधत्त इदम महात्मा. I repeat again. छायेव पुंसा परिदृश्यमाना आभास रूपेण फलानुभूत्या शरीरमारात् निरस्तम पुनर्न संधत्त इदम महात्मा. The translation is, once the body has been cast off like a corpus, the wise person has no attachment to it. Though like a shadow, it is still visible as appearance owing to the effects of past actions. See the translation one more time. The sage never more attached himself to this body, which is visible as an appearance merely like the shadow of a man, owing to the experience of the effects of past deeds, after it had once been cast off to a distance like a corpus. Now he has started new topic. The topic is give up perceptions. When one has realized what I am, and the realization has come as I am the Satchidananda, I am the consciousness, I am always, I am pure. Then question would arise, what about the worlds? How to deal with the worlds? That is why he started this topic. He says, Chayeva. Live through the body, not as a body. Your being is getting unfoldment through this body. This body is not an unfortunate. Vice versa, this body is an opportunity. He says, take an example of your shadow. Shadow. You are walking in the light, and shadow happens. Who cares about shadow? And sometimes the shadow is big, sometimes the shadow is small, sometimes it is right side, sometimes left side, sometimes ahead, sometimes in front. Sometimes it is big shadow, and it is not matter of pride. My shadow, look at my shadow, it is so big. Just ignore. You don't care about shadow. You just ignore. The shadow is nothing to you. Do you think about your shadow? Today my shadow was falling in the gutter. So I am so disappointed. No. You never think about the shadow. And in Gita, Lord Sri Krishna gave another good example, like a cloth. Clothes you can change, but you are the same. Clothes are different from you. So the human body is like a shadow. For whom? For realized. Those who are not realized, for them, human body is everything. They are so obsessed. They think we don't have anything, we have just body. All the time, 24 hours, they think about the body. Eat for the body, do not eat for the body. Sleep for body, do not sleep for the body. Everything is body oriented. Because we think we don't have anything except a body. So body is most important to us. 24 hours, only one thing is going on in our mind about body. Nothing else. But you don't think about the shadow. Why? Because you know shadow has no meaning to you. Shadow is no meaning to you in your life. For realized person, body is like shadow, unreal. It may not. It may a big healthy body or not healthy body. Just ignore. Ignore means you don't care. Like you are watching TV and you have heard a news. There was a plane crashed and many people died. He says it's bad news. But TV is continuing. You are watching continuously TV. Just it is bad news. Then someone says, in that plane, your friend was going. The mind divert that place. Who? How? Then question arises. Because he was your friend. And vice versa, there may be your enemy too. Then also you disturb. Ignorance means it is bad news. Enough. So realized person, Shankaracharya says, Sayev punsa paridrishyamanam abhasa matren phalanubhutya. It is like abhas, reflection. And see, the body's nature you cannot change. Like you cannot change the nature of the shadow. Same for realized person who has everything. Realized person has soul. We are without soul. Without soul, body what? Just corpus. Shankaracharya says, Sariram ara chab corpus. A realized person has soul, consciousness. And without realized person is just a corpus. He has everything. That is why he don't care about the body. Sariram shabban nirastam punarna sandhatta idam mahatma. So they don't think about the body. It does not mean they don't care. They care. Because body is the best mean to realization. And through the body, they have got realization. So they respect the body, they care the body, they feed the body, but they are not attached to the body. Now next one. Satata vimal bodhananda rupam samitya teja jad mala rupopadhimitam sudure atha punarapi naisa smritam vanta vastu samarna visaya bhutam palpyate krishnaya. I repeat. Satata vimal bodhananda rupam samitya teja jad mal rupopadhimitam sudure अथ पुनरपि नैष स्मर्यतां भान्त वस्तु स्मरण विषय भूतम पल्यते कृत्स्नाय. The translation is eternal, unsullied knowledge bliss, thus realizing the Atman, fleeing far astray this body which is inert and impure, then think of it no more, for a thing vomiting brings only disgust when it is remembered. See the translation again. Realizing the Atman, the eternal, the pure knowledge and bliss, through fat away these limitations of body, which is inert and filthy by nature, they no more remember it, for something that has been vomited, excite but disgust when called to memory. What about the bird? The question was, what about the bird? He says, the thought of the liberation has come in your mind. It means it is possible. This thought is proof you can accomplish this target. Except human body, any other body does not give support to the mind to think about liberation. The human body is with some purpose. And the only purpose is self-realization. Self-realization. This body is perfect for realization. We have power to judgment. Like a seed can grow up when the soil and weather condition is favorable. Only seed is not enough. This body is favorable for self-realization. So it should be respected. Do not waste it. But be careful, do not attach with it. Once you have accomplished your goal, then do not think about the body. Nothing, anything in this body. We should think. Before realization, you don't have anything. Before realization, we do not have anything. But after realization, you have everything. What you have, Shankaracharya says, Satata Bimala Bodhananda Rupam Samitya. After realization, you have self. Always pure knowledge, pure happiness. So now you detach yourself from the body. What body is? Body is inert, impure. So just avoid. And he is giving an example like a vomiting. If someone vomits, then who cares about what has come out from the body? It does not matter. You want to go away from that point. You don't think about vomiting. So he says, for a realized person, the body is like disgusting object, like vomiting. He never think. But I say again and again, the realized person does not hate, does not love. He is unobsessed. Now next one. Samulametat paridahya vannau sadatmani brahmani nirvikalpe tata swayam nitya vishuddha bodha ananda bodha nandatmana tishtati vidvarishtha. I repeat. Samulametat paridahya vannau sadatmani brahmani nirvikalpe tata swayam nitya vishuddha bodha ananda atmana tishtat vidvarishtha. The translation is, burning all this, root and all, in the fire of Brahman, the eternal absolute self, the truly wise, remains alone, established as the pure, eternal, enlightened, blissful self. See the translation again. Burning all this with its very root in the fire of Brahman, the eternal and absolute self of the truly wise man, thereafter remains alone as Atman, the eternal pure knowledge and bliss. Now he is saying, the all duality, the all cause of the world. What world is? What is world? World means diversity. World means duality. World means enemy. World means friends. World means death. World means birth. World means miseries. World means happiness. These all things put together, then we call it world. What is the cause of this world? World does not mean sun. World does not mean the river, the mountains, the earth, the water, the sky. World means mystery. World means duality, anger, calm, quiet, lust, enemy, friends, death, birth, sick. This is the world. We are miserable not because of the earth. We are not miserable because of the water. Our miseries are because of our ignorance. So Shankaracharya says, Samula metat paridaya. So what is the cause of the world? The cause of the world is ignorance. When there is ignorance, there is misery. If there is ignorance, then there is a death. There is ignorance, then there is a birth. I-ness, my-ness, everything will happen because of ignorance. So ignorance is the root. And we are trying to solve every problem one by one, and we did not succeed yet. We are trying. So Shankaracharya says it will not work. If you want to rid up from the world, if you want to rid up from the all miseries, the only one is solution is for you, and that is solution is Mandav Sadatmani Brahmani Nirvikalpe. The only solution is self-realization, understanding of the Brahman. So, Brahman, the self, the consciousness, you have to know this is fire for the world. It will burn all world and its root. The Brahma Gyan, the knowledge of the Brahman, the knowledge of the self will burn entire the universe and with it along with its root. So, self-knowledge like a fire. The world is fuel for that fire. Immediately, this fire will destroy all entire world. It does not mean when you get realization, the fire will burn the earth, the water. No. Your self-knowledge will burn your ignorance, your world, your miseries. And Shankaracharya says, Sadatmani Brahmani Nirvikalpe Tata Swayam Nitya Visuddha Bodha Nandatmana Tishtat Vidvarishta. Upanishads are saying, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of the Brahman becomes a Brahman. The knower of the Brahman. After realization, this world will appear, but meaningless. Like you have a seed. Seed has the potentiality to produce so many sprouts, fruits, leaves, flowers, and trees. If you sow in the soil and put the water, fertilizer, it sprouts. It will take big form, becomes a tree. But if you roast it, if you roast the seed, after that, this seed will appear as a seed, but this will not work. This will not produce any sprout. Its capacity has burnt. It will appear like a seed. Whatever you do, you put in the soil, put the water, fertilizer, whatever you do, but sprout will not come out. The capacity of the producing has burnt. Same, the self-knowledge will burn all ignorance and its product, the universe will appear like same, but it will not work for nature. It will not measurable. It will not give you birth. It will not give you death. So birth, the entire universe and the ignorance will finish, and that realized person will remain established in its own nature. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Sankaracharyam Keshavam Vadarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Isharo Gururatmiti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.